Greetings everyone and a very warm welcome to the news. With it, I'm Shifarao Lakau. Do stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has seen off leaders of various countries who attended the inauguration of his new government. The Premier expressed special thanks for taking time to be part of the historic day of his government. In his social media post, the Prime Minister appreciated the best wishes and respect of all leaders upon his inaugural as Prime Minister of Ethiopia for the next 5-year term. Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki has sent a message of warmest congratulations to Abiy Ahmed on his re-election as the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. In his message, Isaias underlined Eritrea and Ethiopia have gone a long way in the past 3 years to turn a chapter of confrontation and hostility and lay groundwork for robust peace and friendship between the two sisterly countries, with its positive implications to the wider Horn of Africa region. Isaias further stated, "I trust and am hopeful that the trajectory the two countries have embarked upon will be further enhanced and consolidated in the period ahead in spite of efforts by negative external forces of regression that seem bent on turning back the clock of history." Meanwhile, leaders of the United Arab Emirates have sent their congratulatory message to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on assuming the power to lead the nations for the next 5-year term. Now, the ever-rising inflation rate in Ethiopia is posing challenges for the new government to buckle down and bring quick solutions. Presenting government's priority issues in its new term, President Sahle-Work Zewde indicated that dealing with the macroeconomic challenge will be the biggest task ahead. The president also asserted that resolving conflicts and disputes in the country will play its own role to ease the economic situation. Haptam Ashagre presents the story as follows.
The ramification of the war in the northern part of Ethiopia is being reflected in the country's economy as the inflation rate is hitting the record high in recent measures in Ethiopia. The importance between demand and supply and visible shortcomings of the trade system seems to be constant challenges of the economy. The new government of Ethiopia has highly anticipated the address root cause of these chronic challenges to ease the brunt of cost of living the people are grappling with. Presenting government's key priorities in its first term to the new parliament, President Sahle-Work Zewde indicated that dealing with severe economic challenges of the country is a big task lies ahead for the new leadership.
The government of Ethiopia has prioritized activities to successfully cope with the burden of inflation. Thought the homegrown economic reform the country embarked on 3 years ago brought about commendable results, there are still economic challenges that need to be addressed quickly. Thus, the government will aggressively work to come up with specific solutions to address economic uncertainties.
The president pointed out that rectifying situations that jeopardize the country's peace is critical to bring about all-round stability in the country. Sahle-Work, however, underscored that Ethiopia will never kneel to any external threat and compromise the sovereignty.
Ethiopia has never compromised on its sovereignty in its entire history. Ethiopia remained a symbol of liberty and independence thanks to its brave sons and daughters. History will always remember it vividly. We will never compromise on our sovereignty and national interests. So our foreign policy will strive towards protecting our national interests, territorial integrity and sovereignty.
Now, to tell us more on this issue, we're joined over the phone by Dr. Jonas Adaye, who is the Director of Institute for Peace and Security Studies at the Addis Ababa University. It's good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed.
Now, President Sahle-Work Zewde yesterday indicated that the security and economic challenges of the nation will be the key priorities of the new government. And what should be done by the new government, in your opinion, to address these two interlinked challenges?
That's right. Yes, development and security are interlinked. The nexus between the two, some people could possibly say, are biological or very much organic. So if you are really talking about comprehensive development, including cost of living, the entire living standard, improving citizens' say even quality of life, the education, daily services, then you are talking about human security in general. So that being the case, I think Her Excellency President's speech was, to me, very much pointed, very much pragmatic. And yes, indeed, so the efforts can be done, number one, by improving governance. Mind you, whatever living cost, or immediately, you know, a kilo of sugar now in this office, in this shop, say 10 birr and another one 20 birr or 50 birr, then you can immediately guess that it is man-made, it is artificial rather than lack of supply. So that is sort of, if you like, sometimes even a war in its own front, which again is masterminded by some actors who are already part and parcel of the very anti-Ethiopian forces. So that being the case, then you can very easily see, you can see the link between cost of living quickly rising artificially, and at the same time lacking security, so that people complain that, no, this government is not serving us, therefore we have to be against. So that is very well planned, designed by those who really are fighting against Ethiopia's stability and territorial integrity, as was clearly outlined by the president.
The president has also asserted that the country will never compromise on its sovereignty and territorial integrity. What have you made out of her speech?
I think that is a primary responsibility of any government, whatever, you know, what type of government is in power. Their first priority is to immediately take care or make sure the safety and security of the very people. And whenever you talk about government, you are talking about at least 5 fundamental elements, and one being sovereignty. And that's in addition to the population you have and your recognition internationally, and you have the remaining. So absolutely that can never be compromised. If you really talk about your being independent or sometimes interdependent, the first priority is to take care of your internal affairs, because internal has got always external dimension. It is very huge, should be center of gravity to bring in some foreign efforts. So that being the case, then if you want really full comprehensive development, then you must never ever compromise over your sovereignty. Sovereignty of what? Economy. Sovereignty of what? Politics. Sovereignty of course, being interdependent, free from neo-colonialism. The sovereignty has got a lot of dimensions. We are taking only 3 or 4. Economic sovereignty, being independent economically, not begging or depending upon the Western aid to be handed over to the population, which immediately makes you parasite on them, and then you keep on begging forever. Then they would always keep on, I'll give you a sanction if you don't go as I like. So that is, sovereignty is comprehensively to be seen, that is self-sustaining, being independent, truly independent, both economically and politically as well.
Dr. Yunus, thank you so much for your perspectives, and good night.
Good night.
Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. The incumbent Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed was sworn in on Monday to lead the East African nation for the next 5-year term. In a strong and powerful message he delivered during the big inaugural ceremony of his government, Abiy underlined that Ethiopia will forge its relationship with African countries based on friendship and mutual benefits. Kasaun Chane has more on that.
It has long been a secret that Africans have been deprived of the ability to determine their destiny from colonial times to the present day. The continent has been grappling with chronic poverty and widespread conflicts that have predominantly been perpetrated by foreign interventions. The East African region is one of the most geopolitically strategic parts of the continent. It has been wrecked by conflict and terrorism, masterminded by external forces. Part of the volatile region, Ethiopia has been careful to protect its sovereignty and stay peaceful through forging positive relationships with neighboring nations. To keep the momentum, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, who took oath on Monday to lead the country for the next 5 years, thus to maintain healthy relationships with African nations based on mutual interests.
ውድ አፍሪካዊ እህቶቻችንና ወንድሞቻችን እኛ ኢትዮጵያውያን
Dear our African brothers and sisters, we Ethiopians will strive like never before to make our continent strong, prosperous and peaceful based on the notion of African solutions to African problems. We have many things that bring us together than those which separate us in our region. We should capitalize on our blessings to beat all odds.
The Premier said that Ethiopia is building the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam for its quest to prosper, not to cause harm to anyone.
የህዳሴ ግድብ እንደ ሀገር ከሚያስገኝልን ዘርፈ ብዙ ኢኮኖሚያዊና ማህበራዊ ጠቀሜታ ባሻገር
Our Grand Renaissance Dam plays a decisive role for our regional integration apart from economic significance. For us, Ethiopians, Abiy embodies the start of our rise to prosperity. It's a manifestation of our strength to do things in our known way. All Ethiopians, regardless of age, gender, and ethnicity, participate in the construction of the dam. We would like to let our neighbors know our positive intent to develop Abiy. We are committed to working with our neighbors for a strong regional integration based on mutual benefits.
Abiy also asserted that his country will never bow to any ill-intentioned practices and compromise the country's interests whatsoever.
Now, moving on, some renowned political and business personalities have called on the new government to swiftly prioritize ensuring peace and stability in Ethiopia. They also urge the incumbent to encourage the private sector and address key economic challenges. Demis Makrel reports.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed was sworn in to lead Ethiopia for the coming 5 years after Prosperity Party won landslide election victory in June. Prime Minister Abiy forms his new government amid several challenges Ethiopia is grappling with, including the crisis in the northern part of Ethiopia. Some renowned personalities approached by TV say the new government will have to deal with a number of urgent assignments, mostly ensuring peace and stability as key priorities.
Definitely the priority should be peace, because we all know what is going on in the northern part of our country, and what we need dearly is peace, because if we cannot sustain peace, then we cannot think of development or prosperity. So the first priority should be peace. So we have to prioritize peace, and that is the only way we can adjust our ways, and we can achieve what we need to achieve as well. So I do agree that peace is at the top list of our priority.
Many Ethiopians are optimistic that Abiy's new government will substantially change the country's way forward for the better. Those who gave comment to ETV English have shared the optimism, expressing their conviction that the new government will address some of the pressing economic problems of the nation.
You know, job creation is a very important tool for growing Ethiopia. It is a good time and opportunity to encourage the private sector, to encourage private businesses, to increase the performance of ease of doing business, which the Ethiopian government has already embarked on various reforms to carry these endeavors out. And with this government, I'm sure these endeavors will be further expedited, and I'm sure that they will be successful in creating a job for every Ethiopian in the coming years.
Our government must be focused especially on a young generation. Young generation, they have more creativity, and they have a power, and they have energy to do everything, to change this country. So they must have, young generation must have on job creation, and more people, especially on like me, business people. In personally, I invest on idea. So more businessmen, they must invest on idea and create job opportunity for our young people.
Accepting the appointment as a prime minister, Abiy has pledged to address key priorities.
A renowned university professor in the Netherlands says Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has a proven potential to extricate Ethiopia from its current issues. He also criticizes the West and some of their media outlets for evident bias toward TPLF rebel group. Sintayo Tamrat has more.
Jan Abing is an anthropologist historian and carries out research on the history and cultures of the Horn of Africa, particularly Ethiopia. He is a professor of politics and governance in Africa at Leiden University in the Netherlands. He has so far written and edited several books and dissertations on Ethiopia and the Horn region. In an interview with ABC, Jan Abing says some Western countries, particularly the US, are pressurizing the Ethiopian government and siding with the TPLF because they want to make Abiy Ahmed listen to whatever they say.
There is also an impression in the West that African countries who get support from the rich countries, they must also really listen to the Westerners. They must, in a way, be obedient. They must listen. And if you go too independent in taking care of what you as leader of a country see as the interests of your country, then there are misgivings. And this is especially clear in this conflict. In this conflict. But as I said, in the beginning, they were very much positive towards Abiy. And Abiy, if you look also at the current record still of developmental initiatives, the green legacy, the opening up of new projects and so forth. There is really tremendous dynamics going on, and this should continue. But now the Westerners, the USA, the EU, they see everything what happened in the country in the perspective of that conflict, rather than seeing the wider picture.
The international community is showing a clear bias to the TPLF Jabba Bing criticizes. The global media, particularly CNN, the New York Times and The Guardian, seem to report really sensational stories. However, they have no evidence for their accusations on the Ethiopian government or the National Defense Army, he illustrates.
Yeah, there is a bias. There is a bias, absolutely. I'm remembering now this article a couple of months ago, I think 1.5 months ago, in a Daily Telegraph, accusing the Federal Army of using phosphorus bombs, you know? And they showed some pictures of people with burning wounds, and they said, oh, maybe phosphor has been used. That's a very grave accusation, very grave. There is no evidence, neither in the article nor subsequently, of phosphorus bombs having been used. But in the meantime, it's in the media, and people pick it up, and people start making additional accusations on the Federal Army. Such things are pernicious, are not useful. If you are not sure that such bombs or such things have occurred, why produce it?
He believes the recently re-elected Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has a proven potential to extricate Ethiopia from its current predicament.
He has capacity, he has the intelligence, of course, and he has done already so many things. The point is he has to broaden cooperation with all stakeholders in the country. He has to carefully choose his rhetoric, and he has an extremely good team around him. You know, he's not the only one ruling the government, ruling the country. He has a very broad team of experts, young people, skilled people. You know, really scientifically well-formed people around him, and also in the regions, in the Oromia region, in the Amhara region, in Afar region, Somali region, great people with quality who believe in a new Ethiopia and who want to work together with the Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed.
The West has completely forgotten what TPLF did when they were in power, he said.
Ethiopian Airlines has been honored with 4 awards at the Skytrax 2021 World Airline Awards. Ethiopian has taken the crown for Best Airline in Africa 2021 for 4th consecutive years, Best Business Class in Africa 2021 for 3rd consecutive years, Best Economy Class in Africa 2021 for 3rd consecutive years, and Best Cabin Crew in Africa 2021. Moving 7 ranks up, Ethiopian has also been placed 37th in the world's top 100 airlines for 2021 as voted by airline customers around the world. Skytrax CEO said Ethiopian Airlines have firmly established themselves as the best airline in Africa by winning this award for the 4th consecutive year. It is a strong recognition for both the management and all of their frontline staff who contribute to the success of the Ethiopian Airlines customer experience. The World Airline Awards are independent and impartial, introduced in 1999 to provide a customer satisfaction study that was truly global. Travelers around the world vote in the largest airline passenger satisfaction survey to decide the award winners. The awards are referred to by media around the world as the Oscars of the aviation industry. Now, finally, the United Nations confirmed that the 7 officials who had until Sunday to leave Ethiopia have left the country. The spokesperson, Farhan Haq, has confirmed it. The officials were accused of meddling in the country's internal affairs, especially in relation to the conflict in Tigray. It is to be recalled that the Ethiopian government has issued a persona non grata, accusing them of cross-passing their duties as aid providers. Finally, a quick reminder of the top stories. Prominent individuals urge new government to address security issues. And PM vows to work toward regional integration based on mutual interest. And with that, we come to the end of today's news. Many thanks for watching us. Bye-bye.